Hey Deckers, the Tekken 8 demo just dropped, and my goodness is it playing fantastically on Steam Deck, apart from a random issue where the start cutscenes have no audio and there seems to be some kind of background hiss against a lot of the other audio as well. Hopefully this gets resolved, but apart from this startup issue, it's actually running fantastically well. One of the things to note though is by default, it gives a really bad benchmark score around 50 for the Steam Deck in its in-game benchmark system, and it defaults the graphics to all low, but with this bicubic upscaling method around 50 to 70% render scale, which looks okay, but it's really blurry. But you can actually dial this back up to the FSR2 quality mode, so keep everything else at low but put the upscaling on AMD FSR2 quality, and this actually plays phenomenally well, holding pretty much 60 frames per second solid, apart from some random cutscenes still seem to be capped at 30 frames per second. It's not all cutscenes, only certain ones. Obviously they're still polishing this game a bit, but for the most part in the campaign battles and most of the other battles, you are going to get 60 frames per second pretty much solid, with a few minor dips here and there that you're really not going to notice that much, although I did notice a fair amount of micro stutter as I was playing. But I think that this is just going to be a bit of polish. This is an early demo after all. However, I am very impressed at how consistent it was and how good it looked and felt on the Steam Deck. Controls were extremely responsive and the cutscenes are very elaborate. With the local co-op or the player versus CPU, once again it was a pretty solid 60 frames per second. This is the Steam Deck OLED model, but you're going to get pretty much the same on the LCD version. There's no major performance difference between the two, but this screen is a lot better on the OLED, as well as probably about an extra half an hour battery life as well, as we're pulling around 21 watts on the OLED and we're pulling around 24-25 on the LCD. There's also a random arcade mode where you almost run around like a Memoji or a Wii U style avatar, but you still go through battles in the usual fashion, learning new moves and leveling up in an arcade fashion to become the best Tekken player. I can't wait to see how this progresses with the online multiplayer and the story as well, as it's been very interesting. You only get the first chapter for now until the main release of the game in early January. Of course, we'll review the full game once we get our hands on it, but the demo is looking extremely promising and you can go and download this from the Steam store now and give it a go for yourself. Let us know in the comments below if you're going to be picking this one up. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.